It wasn't bad until right when I came in the gate.
Yes,
And
perfect timing.
The storm just opened up and the rain started coming down. And when it started, it seemed like it hasn't stopped, Scott. So, for all of our Sacramento Kings fans that's out there on the road, please be very careful. It is crazy out there.
Yeah, drive safe, because in all seriousness, I have not heard the rain come down this hard in a long, long time.
Long time. I mean, and it comes down so hard and so fast, Scott, that you can be in a certain situation out there to where it's dried and all of a sudden the streets flooded.
Yep.
So now, you're in a critical situation, because when that street floods, ain't no telling what's going to happen when your car hits that water.
There is no doubt about that. So please take it safely out there. Henry and I will be with you until 3:30 today, getting you ready for Kings Live pregame. 4 o'clock, the tip today. Kings are in San Antonio to take on the Spurs. We'll break that down. Of course, the Kings finishing in their homestand very well. 3 straight wins. They finished the 5-game homestand at 3-2. The back-to-back wins versus the Houston Rockets. And they finished strong on Friday night in Sacramento.
Yeah, definitely did, Scott. And, and if you want to go back and talk about the whole totality of the home stand, I started off with the Sacramento Kings being very disappointed, because I actually thought that the Kings were going to really just piggyback off that great win that they had on the road and come home and keep on rolling. But, this is the NBA. Sometimes things don't work out exactly the way we plan it. We put it down on a piece of paper. This is how it should go. And when it don't go that way, we kind of get disappointed. And I did. The first half of this homestand, the Kings really let me down.
Yeah, it was a tough start to the homestand, no doubt about it, with those first 2 losses, but they turned it around, and certainly offensively, I mean, the last 4 games, 130-plus points. We know the defense has been suspect at times, but when they're scoring like this, they're the league's leading scoring team right now. I mean, it's pretty fun to watch.
It's great to watch, Scott. And I will say this, as much as I was disappointed at the first half, I was so elated at the end for these guys to get it together and come back and make this homestand, a positive one for the basketball club, and the way this team is scoring the basketball, it's crazy. Jason and I, we talked about, what surprised you out of the first, 41 games for the Sacramento Kings. That's exactly what I said. I said, I knew they were going to be able to score, but I had no idea that they were going to be able to put up these type of numbers, this type of offensive productivity. And, Scott, yes, that will win you some games. Yeah. But I'm riding with Coach Brown, and Mike Brown, he's cool with the offense, but he still understands that it's the defensive side that's going to take you to the long haul.
No doubt about it. The Kings are at the halfway point right now, 23-18, 5 games above 500 for the first time since 2006. And of course, that was the last time the Kings made the playoffs.
Right. And definitely in the right direction. And, Scott, I'm going to do this. We're halfway through, right?
Yep.
We're halfway through the season, and we've given everybody their flowers. We're pushing De'Aaron and Sabonis to go to the All-Star game because they truly deserve it, right?
Yes, they do.
They truly deserve to go. We're giving the organization all of their kudos for what they're doing. The beam, the defensive change,
yes,
changing the culture,
yes,
all of that stuff, we're giving them their flowers. I'm going to start right now by giving Mike Brown his flowers. If Mike Brown take this team to the playoffs to where they're playing right now,
Coach of the Year,
definitely better be in the conversation of Coach of the Year. We're talking about the Sacramento Kings. We're not talking about any other organization in the NBA. We're talking about a team to where everybody was like, this organization is lost. They're done. They can never get it right. Mike Brown has came here and he has done something special. So I'm throwing it out there early on. If this team finishes up the way they started, if they play the next 41 the same way they played the first, Coach of the Year, bro.
46-32 if they go 28 or 23-18 in the second half. I think that would definitely be worthy. And right now at the halfway point, I mean, is there a better story in the NBA than the Kings? I mean, nationally, that's what people are saying. The Kings are the best story halfway through the season.
I mean, Scott, pretty much, because you look at the darlings of the NBA, and they're not getting it done. Okay, you might can say Brooklyn might be in front of Sacramento because of the star-studded situation of what they got going with their players. You know, they're starting to play good basketball. All right, you might can put Boston in front because they're the Boston Celtics. All right, they got all the mystique in the world. But when you talk about just making a 360-degree turnaround, or basically say 180, because we don't want to go 360.
No.
We want to go 180.
Yes.
But for Mike Brown to come in here and turn this basketball team around in such a short period of time and have these guys playing on such a high level, man, it's got to be the story, Scott.
I think it is. And I mean, you watch the national TV shows, and that's what they think too. I mean, the consensus is right now the Kings are the best story in the NBA. Speaking of great stories, Sabonis continues with his tremendous year. Another triple-double on Friday night. He had 19 points, 15 rebounds, 16 assists. So a 15, 15, 15 plus triple-double. We're talking about Big O, the only person who can compare to that in Kings history.
When you start breaking out names like Oscar Robinson,
yes, that's Wilt Chamberlain company.
Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, you start bringing out those type of names. Whenever you're in the conversation of Magic Johnson, John Stockton, you are with the elites of the basketball gods. Those guys, no one else has come along has been better than them. So when you're in that conversation, you're doing something right.
You're doing a lot of things right if you can get mentioned with those all-time greats, and Sabonis certainly is. I mean, it's so impressive what he's been able to do, playing through the pain with the thumb and everything else. Just Mr. Double-Double continues to rack up on a team high most in double-doubles. And again, if he's not on the All-Star team, that would just be a crime.
If you look at what Sabonis has done and what he's doing in the NBA, Scott, there's only one player that's probably matching or doing more than what Sabonis is doing, and he's an MVP candidate guy.
Yeah.
Only Nikola Jokic is doing more than what Sabonis does for this basketball team, for his squad.
Yep.
You know, and what is he, two-time MVP?
Yes, two-time reigning
He's
MVP.
Two-time reigning MVP, and really, if you look at his numbers and what he's doing, his numbers are better than the first two times that he's got an MVP. So he might go for the trifecta, and Sabonis is right behind him. So you can't tell me he ain't top 15 to be on the All-Star league.
Oh, no, he has to be in the All-Star game. De'Aaron Fox, certainly All-Star worthy as well. He had 24 on Friday night. Terrence Davis getting the start with Herter out again, played well, 22 points, had 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals. Good to see TD back in the mix.
TD came up big, you know, and not just TD, Scott. This is where Mike Brown has really got a lot of guys to where he can count on. Not just TD. TD came up big because his number was called. All right. You know, this guy can play basketball. We know that. It's just all about how many minutes he get out there on the floor. Mezi Metu, his number was called. He came out and he performed. Both of these guys kept it professional, hadn't played in a long time, hadn't seen the floor in a very long time. But when their number was called, they came out and they produced. Trey Lyles, another one. Trey Lyles might have been one of the last guys last year. Now, Mike Brown wasn't here, but when Trey Lyles came here last year, he might have been the last of the guys who was in that trade situation to ever hit the floor. And this guy is giving Mike Brown so much productivity. When Mike Brown go to him, that's 3 guys off the bench that you can really depend on. And we're not talking about your number 1, 2 option that comes off the bench. Those are number 3, 4, and 5 options, Scott. Your 1, 2 option is Davion Mitchell, Malik Monk. So when you get that much productivity out of the 3rd, 4th, and 5th guy, you have something special on your roster.
You do. And speaking of special, Harrison Barnes, HB, special on Friday night as well. 27 points. He was 5 of 8 from distance, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. He did everything on Friday night.
Scott, I've really checked out Harrison Barnes' game. And, you know, I have really been critical of Harrison Barnes in previous years. But I do understand the totality of the NBA, and I understand how the game is played. Harrison Barnes, if you ask HB to be a number 1, number 2, you're going to be sorely disappointed. He's not going to be able to hold that up. I think that's too much pressure for Harrison Barnes. If you ask Harrison Barnes to be a third option, or maybe a fourth option, this is what you get out of him. You get the best of Harrison Barnes. You see that this guy can score. He can defend. He has a low post game. He gives you a little bit of everything, but he isn't in a situation to where all the pressure is on him.
Yeah.
So Harrison Barnes for the last month has been solid for this team.
He's been fantastic. And I got to think, as we keep getting closer to the trade deadline, any thoughts of moving HB just keep going further and further out of the mind of Monty McNair.
You know, I wouldn't. Okay, I would say that because he has to make this team better.
Yes.
As good as the team is, and we're elated at where they are, they still have a long ways to go, you know, to be an elite basketball team. So when you have a player like Harrison Barnes that's playing well, but you can probably move him for something, let's say, more usable or you know, more accessible for this team. You know, we're still, and Mike Brown is still juggling around guys trying to find a suitable replacement for Sabonis. Right? I mean, he studied, you know, putting guys in and out. You know, he's tried Metu. He's tried Holmes. He went all the way down to Lynn, all the way down to Cada. So he's tried all of these guys. And then sometimes he puts Lyle at the 5.
Yes.
You know, so if you can move a Harrison Barnes, and I'm not saying move him, but I'm just saying in the grandiose Osceola scheme of making this team better, everybody's movable if you can get a better situation. So looking at Harrison Barnes, if you can move him and get somebody in here that can really give you some major minutes to where Sabonis doesn't have to carry a whole load, because I definitely feel like, okay, you got TD who can come in and give you great minutes. You still can give Keegan Murray some more minutes. Trey Lyles can get some more minutes at that position. Same thing with Metu. You have other guys who can step in and give you, you know, some productivity in that Harrison Barnes spot. You still don't have a solidified player that's going to give Sabonis a long rest if need be.
No, and it's a great point, because obviously that's the one weakness on the roster is having a little more inside help, especially when Sabonis gets in foul trouble. Of course, the team chemistry has been so great. HB's a big part of it. So that could be really interesting potentially as we go down the road. Let's talk about the ejections on Friday night. The league has come out, by the way, and not sure if you saw this or not, but Jalen Green, Jason Tate have both been suspended for a game for their stuff. No Kings players suspended. So obviously Metu and Monk got kicked out of the game, but Green and Tate are going to have to sit down for the next game.
Wow, that's very interesting, because I would have thought that Malik Monk would get suspended, and he still might.
He was fined $25,000, and that's it.
That's it.
Yes.
It's over now.
Over.
Okay.
Yep. So the final ruling, let's see here. Jalen Green, Jason Tate suspended for 1 game for leaving the bench during the altercation. Garrison Matthews, $35,000 lighter in the wallet. Terry Eason fined $30,000 for escalating the situation and making inadvertent contact with an official. Monk, $25,000 for continuing the altercation and taunting Matthews.
Man, how can I get in on some of this fine money? That's what I'm talking about. Woo-wee!
I mean, it was really much ado about nothing. For the time it took, it was an 8-minute and 16-second review.
Oh, man. And how long they had to review it.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm like, you would have thought that we was at a Mike Tyson fight. I'm like, come on, man. No blows was thrown.
Nothing happened.
Okay?
Nothing happened.
All right, give both of these guys a tech. If need be, eject them. Let's go.
Let's move on down the road. Let's get this party started.
It's not a prize belt that was on the line
in
this situation.
No, I mean, to your point, there wasn't a punch thrown. There was nothing that happened. 4 ejections, the most of any game this season. You see how the league responded. So, but it did feel like much ado about nothing, really. It was late in the game, frustration. Those things happen.
Scooter, played in the 80s, bro.
That would have been a common occurrence.
I played in the 90s, bro. That was nothing. Okay. You know what? Neither one of those players wouldn't even got thrown out back in those days. Earl Strong would have came in and been like, damn well, neither one of y'all gonna fight. Let's go. Keep playing.
Yep. Different world. All right. That's the recap on the Rockets. The Kings streaking into San Antonio. They'll take on a Spurs team, which is struggling mightily as well. They got blown out by Golden State in front of 68,000 fans. We'll talk about that. An NBA record for attendance at the Alamo Dome.
Back at the Alamo, baby.
Yes. It was literally their last stand against the Warriors, the way they played on Friday night.
And, I played in the Alamo, so I remember that place. And they used to cut it in half. They used to cut it in half to where you only played in half of the arena. Yep. So I can't even imagine playing in front of 60,000 plus.
68,323.
World record, right? For an NBA game.
Record for an NBA game.
Nice.
Yeah, amazing. Obviously, there won't be as many people at the AT&T Center tonight, but we'll break down all of that and a lot more. And if you want to call us, you certainly can. 1-800-920-1140. You can text us at 339-1140. If you want to comment, you can on the YouTube as well. Game night underway right here on Sactown Sports 1140.
Join the Sacramento Kings on Thursday, January 26th for the Kingpin Classic Charity Bowling Tournament, presented by Rayleigh's. Bowl and mingle with your favorite players, coaches, Kings dancers, the 916 crew, and Slams It, all while supporting the Sacramento Kings Foundation. Learn more at kings.com/bowling.
I'm in the great outdoors doing a little Dodge watching with Vince Bloom, the big guy at Lasher's Elk Grove Dodge. Would you look at that? Those are some pretty high-powered binoculars you got there, Vince.
Yeah, I use them to spot all the Lasher license plates out there.
Well, there's bound to be a lot because, you are the big guy after all, and the big guy's known for making great deals on new Ram 1500 Bighorns and Longhorns, Tradesmen and Laramies, crew cabs and quad cabs, 4x4s and 4x2s.
I know. Hold on. I see another one.
Another what? Looked like it might have been a new Dodge Challenger.
I think so.
Or a new Dodge Charger. Elk Grove Dodge sells a ton of those, And new Durangos, Chrysler Pacificas, Jeep Cherokees, and the new Grand Cherokee, Jeep Compass, Gladiators, and Wranglers, and the all-new Wagoneer. I've heard Elk Grove Dodge has great deals on those, too.
Oh, he's taken off.
Oh, I'm sorry. You lose him?
Oh, no. Just another happy customer migrating back to Elk Grove Dodge.
No surprise there, because for over 40 years, the name Lasher means a great deal.
Only at Lasher's Elk Grove Dodge, in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, and online at elkgrovedodge.com.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Life is uncertain. It's okay to feel stressed, anxious, worried, or frustrated. CalHope can help. Access CalHope's free and secure mental health resources. Call 833-317-4673 or live chat at calhope.org.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Revive Men's Health Sacramento can help you address the root causes of weight gain, low energy, poor drive, and performance issues. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, we'll give you a free T-check and free exam at Revive Sacramento. Imagine upping your game, losing weight, and getting in shape all at once. Revive can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications, like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. Weight gain and low T are treatable conditions. We know we can help you. Take that first step and book today. You're only one step away from getting in the best shape of your life. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
On behalf of everyone at SMUD, we thank you for your patience while our crews work around the clock to safely restore power and repair damage caused by the unprecedented string of recent storms. The extremely destructive high winds, unrelenting rain, flooding, and saturated ground resulted in extended multi-day power outages. We sincerely apologize and will continue to work 24/7 until all power is safely restored. More storms are on the way. For help getting prepared, visit smud.org/storms.
Welcome back into game night right here. Sactown Sports, 1140. Scott Marshall on with the high flyer, Henry Turner. Henry's dried off a little bit. You can't see him on the YouTube. You had to go out during the timeout and get your car stopped. And, of course, rain's still coming down. It's been a rough one.
Man,
been a rough few minutes.
I mean, really, really, really coming down. But, I tell you what, Scooter, if I hear one more thing about how Sacramento needs some more water.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm like, really? I'm like, the Bay Area is flooding out. Okay, you mean to tell me Sacramento needs more water?
Yes.
Get out of here.
Don't talk to me about drought.
Exactly.
Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Speaking of raining, it was raining threes for the Kings on Friday night. They shot 50% from beyond their 20 of 40. They really shot it well. They're the highest scoring team in the league. As we look at San Antonio, we tell you, a team that's struggling. They're 13-30. They're in the Wembanyama sweepstakes at this point. They give up the most points in the league. So when you look at this game today, again, on paper, quote unquote, on paper, this is a great opportunity for the Kings to get 6 games above 500.
Yes, Scott. On paper, you would definitely say that. You would say that, the Kings should go in there and get the job done and beat this basketball club. But paper is worth nothing in this league. We always talk about on the paper. I hate on the paper because I know on any given night, any basketball team, if they come out and they play the right way. Now, they might only play the right way maybe 6 times out the whole year, but if you're that team that catches them on one of those nights, you're going to lose a basketball game. It's not like, we're talking about a high school team here. We're talking about an NBA squad coached by a Hall of Fame coach.
Yes.
Popovich is one of the best in the business, and people just don't give him that mantra. He has definitely earned it. So the Kings have to go into San Antonio with the mindset of they're playing another well-rounded basketball team and get the job done.
No doubt. The Spurs have lost 4 straight, 7th in their last 8. We saw, of course, the Rockets had come in losing 7 straight. Now it's 9 straight for them. But here's Pop, and we know obviously he may be the greatest NBA coach of all time, certainly in the conversation. You
no doubt.
Put Phil Jackson there. You might say Pat Riley. I mean, we could list some names, but he's in any conversation. But here was his quote after his team got blown out by the Warriors 144-113 in front of that NBA record crowd of 68,323. His quote was, and I'm going to read to you verbatim here. It was really incredible to see the way the crowd got into the game, and they seemed like they were into the game despite the fact we were getting our butts kicked. It was a great opportunity for our guys to learn. And again, we've talked about this with Pop because obviously he's on the backside of his coaching career.
Right.
And who knows how much longer he's going to do it. But I just think when I hear comments like that, would that have been a Greg Popovich comment back during the run? Great opportunity for our guys to learn. Incredible way to see the crowd into the game.
So basically what you're saying is back when we had a more feisty Pop.
Yes.
I doubt it. But have you noticed this, though? Have you noticed the similarities? Because Mike Brown is a descendant of Greg Popovich.
Yes.
And have you noticed about, the type of verbiage that's being used by both coaches? Mike Brown don't hold no punches. He definitely tells you the way it is.
Tough love.
And I like the
way ask Terrence Davis.
I like the way he goes by that, Scott, because it brings everybody together. And Mike Brown watched Popovich do it with Tim Duncan, with David, the Admiral.
Yeah, right.
Ginobili, we're talking Sean Elliott, with great basketball players to where he held everybody, not just 1 or 2 players. That's a problem when you bring a lot of these young coaches in. They don't hold the all-star players accountable. No, Pop held his most coveted players, reliable when it came down to playing defense. Mike Brown is doing the same thing here. Everybody is on board. De'Aaron Fox, don't care who you are. We understand you're an up-and-coming player in this league, but you're not at Tim Duncan status.
Nope.
You're not at David Robinson status, and nobody's walking around as that LeBron status. Mike Brown has had these players at his helm and held them accountable. So guess what? Everybody in the Kings uniform is going to be held accountable.
And that's how you have to start.
Oh, no question. Just ask Terrence Davis after that quick timeout in the third quarter, because I think Mike Brown spent the whole 2:30 of it talking to TD.
Man, you know what? I'll tell you what. Mike Brown and TD have a special relationship.
Yes.
You know, and Mike, you'll hear it in Mike's voice because he was like, ooh, Terrence Davis in that first half, man, oh man, drove me crazy.
Yep.
But in the second half, he came out and did everything that I asked him to do. You know, that's a special relationship in which it's a dynamic to where a coach knows, son, you can be better, you can do better, and I'm not going to stop until I get that type of productivity out of you. Now, it's easy for a coach to look at a player and just put him in the background and say, okay, no, I'm not going to even deal with him. You don't want a coach like that, Scott. I played for a coach like that. Oh, is this what you're going to give me? Okay, I'm not going to look at you no more this year. You're going to sit on this bench all 38, 40 games, and I'll deal with you at the end of the year. But Mike is not like that.
No, he's not.
He looks and sees at what you can bring and say, you know what? I'm not going to give up on you, and I'm not going to let you give up on this team.
Yep. And I think that's kind of my point with Pop. And by no means do I mean that he's coasting, because that would never be the case. But to your point, the way he used to get into Duncan and Ginobili and some of those guys, I mean, it doesn't feel like Keldon Johnson's feeling the same type of sideline wrath. And maybe he is. I don't know that for a fact.
Okay, but here's the deal, Scott.
Yeah.
Is Keldon Johnson Tim Duncan?
No, he's not. Obviously.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. You know, when you have a player to where you know sky is the limit, like when Mike Brown came here, we're not going to talk about Tim Duncan. Yep. When Mike Brown came in here and he looked at De'Aaron Fox, he knows sky is the limit for this dude's potential and how well he can play out there on the basketball floor. So, yeah, you're going to get a lot of my attention. You're going to get a lot of criticism, because I know you're at level 5 and you can go to 10 if somebody holds you accountable, and that's my job. That's what I'm going to do. Same thing with Pop. Pop taught Mike Brown that just by sitting there watching him deal with Tim Duncan, deal with David Robinson, deal with all those other great players, and that's how you create a better atmosphere. Now, when you talk about one of the best who've ever done and had a dynasty, San Antonio is one of the first come to mind.
There's no doubt about that. 5 championships for the San Antonio Spurs, all with Greg Popovich at the helm of it. All right. When we come back, we're going to look around the league. We'll get you caught up on the NFL scores as well. But the news throughout the league, you mentioned this earlier, the Lakers might have some interest in DeMarcus Cousins. Well, they have worked out DeMarcus Cousins. We'll catch you up on that as well. We always talk about the 2-minute review. There might have been the worst 2-minute review ever in that Lakers-Mavs game. The refs missed 7 calls, according to the review. We'll get into that a little bit. That and a lot more. We can take your phone calls as well, 1-800-920-1140. Game night with you until 3:30, and then it'll be Kings Live pregame after that. Tip 4 o'clock tonight. G-Man with the call. It's the Kings and the Spurs. Game night is always brought to you by Power Business Technology. Experience how the power of family can help your business office equipment needs today. Contact them at 844-POWER-BZ or go to powercopiers.com. More of Game Night next right here. Sactown Sports, 1140.
The only place you'll find Keegan Murray is Sactown Sports.
Out to Keegan Murray, straight away for 3, and Keegan knocks down the triple.
Hey Sacramento, it's Keegan Murray, and you're listening to the home of Sacramento Kings, Sactown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Want the best movie experience in town? Join Sactown Sports' IMAX Pass by visiting SactownSports.com and sign up today. You can win tickets to see this week's film at the Esquire IMAX Theater.
Progressive presents Adjusting to the Suburbs. You just bought a home in the suburbs, but no one told you about all the birds, specifically this one, who seems to be calling out Roy. Roy. But who exactly is Roy? And why doesn't he ever respond? Maybe Roy is just bird speak for save with Progressive by bundling your home and auto. I guess until Roy answers, we'll never know. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided in service by affiliates and third-party insurers.
Check the game from the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
KHTK AM and HD1 Sacramento. KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Sports 1140. KHTK.
Kenny and Jerry here from Bell Brothers, and people always ask us, why does a heating and air conditioning company also sell replacement windows?
Simple. We're all about lowering your energy bills and keeping your home comfortable. And for a lot of homes in the area, old, outdated windows are a major problem.
If your home is more than 10 years old, you should at least get your windows inspected.
Chances are high that new, ultra-efficient windows from Bell Brothers will make a world of difference, both in energy bills and the comfort of your home.
And right now, when you buy 8 or more windows, we'll give you 50% off any sliding glass door or a free pet door.
So, call Bell Brothers now at 916-444-1234 or online at theNoSurpriseGuys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Jiffy Lube's Country in the Park, Northern California's biggest country music festival of the year, is back May 5th and 6th at Cal Expo, starring Lady A, Chris Young, Brett Eldridge,
I wanna be that song that gets you high.
and so many more. Plus, a Boots Boot and Line Dance Saloon, interactive lounges, and Sacramento's best food trucks. Weekend passes start at just $85. Tickets are on sale now at SactownSports.com. Country in the Park, brought to you by Coors Light, E2 Family Winery, and Xfinity.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. You've heard me talk with my friend Shelby about real estate for a long, long time. You know what? Shelby's main goal? He just wants to help you save money no matter how. So what is Shelby doing right now with the real estate market all over the place? He's pivoting. Solarwithshelby.com. And you might be saying like, oh God, solar. No, listen, Shelby's got it dialed in, especially if you're a PG&E customer. He can save you 30 to 50% off your bill, 30% federal tax credit, dollar for dollar. It comes back in cash. Protect yourself from inflation. These numbers could be going up and up and up. 100% financing. Yeah, they've got it. Nothing down, 30% tax credit, 25-year guarantee. What more do you need? Go to solarwithshelby.com. That's what you need. You need solar. Solarwithshelby.com. Save yourself some money today and tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Welcome back in the game night right here, Sactown Sports, 1140. Scott Marshall on with the high flyer, Henry Turner. Talking Kings basketball up until 3:30. Kings Live pregame takes over bottom of the hour. Jason Ross in for that. G-Man call tonight, 4 o'clock tip. Kings in San Antonio looking to get their 24th win of the season. Let's get you caught up on the NFL scoreboard here. Of course, big playoff Sunday. Earlier today, the Bills survive at home and end the Dolphins season. 34-31, Bills survive and advance. Currently, it's the Giants and the Vikings. New York leading this game in Minnesota, 17-14 later on tonight. Baltimore's in Cincinnati. And, of course, tomorrow night, it's the Cowboys in Tampa Bay that take on Tom Brady and the Buccaneers.
And give my boys the Niners some love. They took care of business.
Yesterday, the Niners played a good second half.
They took
a little shaky first half.
Hey, wasn't it? Felt like a Kings game.
That's true. 41-23 Niners roll. They're going to be at home. They're still waiting to find out who their opponent will be next week in Santa Clara. Also, college scoreboard. Yesterday, I have to say, UC Davis defeating Cal State Fullerton 83-79.
Yeah,
high flyer.
Yeah, I see you liking that one right there. That's all right.
You're the Titan graduate.
That's okay. We'll be back.
That's right. There'll be a rematch later in the year. All right, let's get back to the NBA. Let's look at some of the news and notes going on in the league. As we mentioned before the break, the Lakers are looking for a big man. They already have Thomas Bryant, AD coming back, but they want to bolster a little bit more. They worked out Myers Leonard, and they also worked out Boogie for a time on Friday. According to Darvin Ham, they both look great. Whether or not they're able to do something with them is a different story, but we're constantly trying to kick the tires on different scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
What do you make of that?
Miles Leonard, probably a good candidate. But the one thing that Boogie brings is a different dynamic to that basketball team. When you talk about dealing with AD, him and AD is boys. You got to understand how well they played together in New Orleans. They got history. This wouldn't be the first time that Boogie's been with LeBron. All right. So brings a total different dynamic. Now, I know for a fact that Darvin Ham is looking at this when you would bring in the mental capacity of a Boogie Cousins, and then you also still have to deal with the Russell Westbrook. Well, that's going to put a little strain on you.
You'd have a lot going on right there.
You have a lot going on.
There's no doubt about that. Speaking of the Lakers, that Lakers-Mavs game that took place on Thursday night, that double overtime thriller. Well, the 2-minute report came out on that, and it wasn't real good for the refereeing crew or for the league for that matter. According to the report, there were 7 missed calls late in that game. Sounds like a lot, sounds like too many. Just a bigger point. I'm wondering your thoughts, because we talked about, obviously, the ejections on Friday night and how that was handled, everything else. What's your feeling so far? We're halfway through the year, and how the officiating's been this year in the league.
It's been a lot of missed calls, Scott. It's been a lot of missed calls. And, you know, I will say this. I don't think it's out of the ordinary, but I do think that in today's game, the way that the league puts it out there is that they're showing that the referees are human and they make mistakes. You know, we always talk about the 2-minute report and what it's worth. Nothing, if you ask me. But the league wants to be transparent. They want to put it out there that, okay, just like players, just like coaches, just like organizations, yes, referees make mistakes. Nothing is going to be perfect in this game. But they're trying to do everything that they possibly can to make it as close as perfect as they can. That's why they have the reviews and the 2-minute reports.
Yep. And to your point, LeBron James was asked about the 2-minute report. Of course, he could be fined if he comments on it, but he agrees with you. He goes, I mean, I don't have any thoughts to share here. I got 3 kids, man. We got college funds going, and my boy's about to go off to college. Well, it'll be free for him, but not like where I stand. So it is what it is. I know what was happening in the game. I hate those last 2-minute reports. It don't change nothing.
It doesn't change anything. Now, that's the part to where it really rubs most players the wrong way. You know, that's why if you ask me which one I like the best between the 2-minute report and maybe the reviews in the game, I'll definitely take the reviews in the game, because when you review a play in the game, they can change it right then and there, and it can change the outcome of the game. The 2-minute report is like somebody coming and snitching. You can't change anything with that. They just said, okay, this is what really happened.
Yeah, no doubt. How about that dunk by Ja last night, too? That was incredible.
Ja Morant is one of the most explosive players that we've seen come around at his size in a long time. You know, he's a sneaky dunker. Once he gets in the middle, when he elevates, man, it's no telling what's going to happen, because if he beats you to the rim, he has enough, you know, explosion in that takeoff to dunk the basketball. And then again, he could pull it back down and hold, create the contact, flip it up off the backboard, little whoop-de-doo. He has all that in his game. So, man, I love watching this young man play.
Yeah, that was something else. That dunk was just a throwback. I don't know how he got bent so far back to cram it with the right hand, and then he landed standing. I mean, it was just crazy, like how flexible he is, how athletic he is, how high he got off the ground. It was a signature dunk.
You know, I know we will never, ever, ever get a chance to see this, but we always, you know, like to combat it and throw it out there. I would love to see Ja Morant come down the middle on a New York Knicks team to where you had Anthony Mason.
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
To where you had Anthony Mason, Charles Smith,
Oakley.
Charles Oakley, and then Patrick Ewing to finish you off.
He'd be in about 10 pieces in the lane.
I would have loved to see that happen and see what maybe what 175-pound Ja Morant was going to do.
Yeah, there would be a couple forearm shivers, no doubt about it. But it was fun to watch last night. And, of course, the Grizz coming up on the Kings schedule later in January.
Got a question for you.
Okay.
Since we were talking about, you know, guys being worked out and, you know, free agents and stuff like that.
Yep.
Where does Carmelo Anthony falls into all of this?
That's a great question. Certainly a guy who you would think could still play.
I'm just saying, I mean, do you think it's like, okay, he's done, or is it a team that can look at Melo and what he does? Because think about it. Melo is still a walking bucket.
Oh, yeah. He can add to any team offensively.
He's still a walking bucket. So, you know, is this going to be a situation to where we will see Melo in a uniform this year?
Well, if we see him in a uniform, it's most likely going to be like a Brooklyn Nets jersey, a Boston Celtics jersey, a Milwaukee Bucks jersey. I mean, he's only going to a team that can win a championship.
Right. He's not going to go to a team that's rebuilding. But what I'm saying is that this young man, well, he's getting older, but to me, he's still a young man. He can still play basketball.
Yeah.
And it isn't like, his game is just eroded to the point to where he couldn't help a team out there. He definitely can help a basketball team.
Yeah, no question about that. That'll be interesting to see as we get closer to the end of the year, people making their final rosters, everything else. He lands.
Hey, I told you if I was the Lakers, it was 2 players that I would go get. Boogie Cousins would be one.
Yep.
And then Rajon Rondo.
Yeah, you mentioned Rondo, another guy.
I would have went out and got Rondo because I think that really solidifies what you have going at the 5 and at the 1. You already got LeBron and AD to sprinkle in the other 2 positions. That pushes you big time out there. And then you still got Russ.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, Russ most likely is going to be with them. They're not going to be able to move him before the deadline. So
are they going to be able to move Russ, period, bro?
I don't think so.
Russ makes $48 million.
Yeah, no.
Who's going to take on that?
Not likely. Not likely. All right. When we come back, we're going to focus in on the game at hand. Of course, it's Kings and Spurs. The Kings, great chance in San Antonio before they go to play the Lakers on Wednesday night. So we'll break it down. When we come back, we'll have our Who's on the Floor report as well. This is Game Night. It's being brought to you by the Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Sacramento. If you're interested in becoming an adult volunteer to mentor children in our area, please give the Big Brothers and Big Sisters a call at 916-646-9300 or visit bbbs-sac.org to learn more. More of Game Night right here, Sactown Sports, 1140.
Join the Sacramento Kings on Thursday, January 26th for the Kingpin Classic Charity Bowling Tournament. Presented by Rayleigh's. Bowl and mingle with your favorite players, coaches, Kings dancers, the 916 crew, and Slams It. All while supporting the Sacramento Kings Foundation. Learn more at kings.com/bowling.
The other day, I bought a cockatoo. He's a handful, but I'll manage. Just like I manage without home internet. Sure, my mobile hotspot is slow and makes streaming shows unbearable, but I'm making do. Oh no, who's this?
It's mating season, Dad!
No home internet? It's not that bad!
Don't settle. Get Xfinity Home Internet for just $19.99 a month for 1 year with a free streaming box. Call, click, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. After 12 months, regular rates apply. Offer ends 2/21/23.
Hi, this is Henry Turner, a.k.a. the High Flyer. I've done a lot of amazing things on the basketball floor, but now it's your turn to be amazing. For more than 55 years, Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Sacramento has helped out the youth beat many odds. Too many littles, especially boys, are still waiting for volunteers, Big Brothers. Volunteers to spend at least 4 to 6 hours a month with local youth who needs guidance and support. So donate your time to Big Brothers and Big Sisters of the greater Sacramento area. Get involved. It's easy as a layup. Call 916-646-9300.
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000. I tried to make payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Eric's efforts, so they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. I was just overwhelmed at what to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owe $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Folks, there's been some fumbles on the way to the big game, but he's been getting some help to get it done tonight. Here's the throw. And he's off to the races. He might go all the way. He's at the 30, the 20, the 10, touchdown. He did it, folks. He did it.
Regain and optimize your sexual performance. Drug-free and surgery-free. The Gainswave treatment will help you get that bedroom touchdown. See what Dr. Dan Botha and his team at Gainswave can do for you. Visit gainswavecalgary.ca.
What's going on? Joined as always by Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Chad, what's up with the Chrysler Start Something New event?
Hoblet is the most trusted dealer in California and is known for having the largest inventory of heavy-duty trucks in the state. We have every type of Ram 2500 heavy-duty available and zero dealer markup. In fact, right now you can save up to $12,000 off MSRP on new 2022 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cabs, with financing starting at 1.9% and prices as low as $39,630.
Oh, is that all?
No, that's not it. We also have up to $8,000 off MSRP on new 2022 Ram 1500 Laramie Crew Cabs as well.
What are you waiting for? Stop by the Hoblet Ram Truck Center off County Road 102 and I-5 today, or search, select, and save at HobletDodge.com. Best prices, best selection, period.
$12,000 in total net savings after $6,000 factory rebates and $6,000 dealer discount. Rebates include $2,000 Chrysler Captive bonus cash. Must finance with Chrysler Captive qualify. 1.9% financing available for 36 months on approved credit. $28.61 per $1,000 borrowed. $8,000 total net savings after $2,000 factory rebates and $6,000 dealer discount. 10 at each net savings. See dealer for details.
Wrapping things up here on game night. Final segment, Kings Live pregame coming up at the bottom of the hour. Kings and Spurs, 4 o'clock tip. Other games in the NBA just underway. Thunder in Brooklyn to take on the Nets. Brooklyn up 8-6 early on. All the other games later starts. Orlando's in Denver. It's the Mavs at the Blazers. 76ers and Lakers. That'll be interesting. Joel Embiid and Harden and company, they're here in Sacramento next Saturday night. Knicks winning earlier today, 117-104. The Clippers beat the Rockets 121-100. We know that was without Jalen Green, Jayshawn Tate, who were suspended a game after the fourth quarter altercation in Sacramento. Can't call it an altercation, but the fourth quarter leaving the bench. And the Bulls beat the Warriors 132-118. All right, for the Kings tonight, it's time to get to your Who's on the Floor report. It's brought to you by Gold River Floors. Of course, Kevin Herter's missed the last 2 games, but all indications he's available and will play tonight for Sacramento, a non-COVID illness. He's feeling better, and that's good news for Sacramento.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, Scott, I tried to find the silver lining in the Kevin Herter situation of him being out and being a little bit under the weather. And I honestly thought that gave TD a couple of games to get his mojo back. You know, and the first game, you know, he responded, he did some good things, but the second game, he definitely came out and gave you some good productivity out there. So I was happy to see that happen. So now hoping that, you know, TD has his mojo back and you can bring Kevin Herter. That's just one more weapon that the Kings can use in their arsenal.
No doubt. They will welcome him back. And again, the Kings have been healthy for the most part all season long, and that's been a big reason why they have been so successful. All right, the Who's on the Floor report brought to you by Gold River Floors. Let the pros at Gold River Floors assist you with all your flooring needs. 3 locations to serve you. Sacramento Flooring off Power Inn Road in Sacramento, Gold River Carpet One off Highway 50 in Rancho Cordova, and Gold River Flooring America off East Bidwell in Folsom. All right, let's break this one down a little bit. As we said, San Antonio not playing very good basketball right now. They're 13-30 overall. They've lost 4 straight. They've lost 7 of their last 8. But Henry, as you have said all the time on the show, and the reason I wore black today, you say never bet against black.
Never bet against black, because for some reason, somehow, no matter what goes on, we just talked about, you know, Popovich's Herculean career. For some reason, he can always muster up something out of his players and get those guys to go out there and play hard. You know, I'm not saying that, you know, the San Antonio Spurs have all this talent and they have all these great players to where they can pick from, but I'll tell you what, it's one thing that's true of this team, and they always take on Popovich's mentality. They're not going to quit. They're going to come out and they're going to play hard. So if the Kings walk in there thinking that this team is going to lay down, it's not going to happen. They're going to have to play good basketball. They're not going to be able to just walk in and say, okay, we're the Sacramento Kings. We're the better version of the Kings. Give us this game. No, it's not going to happen.
No doubt. A Kings team that has scored over 130 in the last 4 games. They've beaten San Antonio the last 3 times out, including on November 17th, where the Kings did score 130. They beat the Spurs 130-112. One player on the Spurs roster I know you like a lot, Jakob Poeltl.
Yes.
It'll be interesting to see. He's, 6 years in the league now. if the Spurs break down their roster at all, if a Pirtle became available, because that might be something that could be of interest to Sacramento.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. I like his game, and I think that the San Antonio Spurs and Popovich has done a great job into developing this young man's skill. He's another big. You talk about having a big that can probably, do something with Jokic. Well, that's a guy that can probably match up with him size for size, strength for strength. And then he also can give you some more rebounding, some more shot blocking, rim protection, and he can do a little something down there in the post with the basketball. So let's say, for example, if he's up and San Antonio's like, okay, we're going into rebuild mode and we're ready to move him, he would be something for the Sacramento Kings to look at.
Yeah, a lot of teams, obviously, who would need some inside help. At 7'1", 260 pounds, he's a guy who can give you that inside presence.
Like I said, when you're looking at a situation to where when we play Denver, we have nothing for Jokic at all. I mean, Sabonis does a great job, but he gets in the foul trouble, and you don't want Sabonis in the foul trouble. That's the last person you want to go out. So if you had another option that you can go to put on Jokic and then still have Sabonis out there doing his thing, man, that would be well welcome.
That'd be pretty nice. All right, that's going to do it for game night. Henry, continue to dry off. Always great to work with you.
I won't go outside.
Have a great call tonight. The Kings currently in 4th place in the Western Conference, 23-18, looking to climb the ladder. Great opportunity today in San Antonio. And of course, coming up next for the Kings, it'll be the Lakers in Los Angeles on Wednesday. Coming up next right here, it is Kings Live pregame. Jason Ross here for that with the High Flyer. The G-Man will have the call 4 o'clock tip. Of course, you'll hear all the action all afternoon and evening long right here on Sactown Sports 1140.
The only place you'll find Kevin Herter is Sactown Sports.
Herter's open, steps into 3. He's got the triple.